Then there's Orlando Brown, who has been the only one bold enough to talk about what Diddy actually did to him.
Yo, Diddy, you gave me the ooshkash goosmash. You gave me the ooshkash muaf, the smooshmash. Diddy. Yeah, son. Gotta say no to Diddy. If it's new booty in the building, you know he gonna get it.
Don't take your girlfriend to a Diddy party.
You can take the but he won't you.
In several interviews, Orlando explicitly stated that Diddy forced him with multiple rappers, including some of the biggest names in the industry. Rather than viewing these as delusional claims, some industry veterans now suggest Orlando might be deliberately acting unstable as a protection mechanism. Music journalist Jaguar Wright recently stated Orlando knows exactly what he's doing. Acting crazy gives him freedom to speak truths no one would believe otherwise. It's a survival tactic in this industry.
There we go.
Okay.
And I definitely don't sit with people who make child porn films.
It's not our fault that Justin Bieber got by Diddy.
It's not our fault that Usher didn't want to get fucked by Diddy anymore. It is not our fault that Usher didn't want to get fucked by Diddy no more.
Yo, son, the wanted to be rich, son.
Listen to me. He turned Justin Bieber into a pocket pussy.
Son.
The fuck?
To be rich,
They put the
son.
baby on. No, I put the coke in your car on. Yeah. I put the coke in your car. That Bieber is wrong. You better walk away.
With that being said. With that being said.
I put the coke in your car.
We're going to get through this. All right. We have a couple of really fun stories. Sorry, we're all good. I want to talk about Trump and MAGA in a couple of different sort of coordinating ways, because there is a lot going on right now. I think that the chinks in the armor are massive chasms at this point. I'm not sure if MAGA is salvageable, at least comparable to what it was. I think that it is maybe past the point of no return. I think Trump is real. I don't know if he could have handled the Epstein stuff worse. I genuinely, what happened? Okay. I don't know what happened, but it's kind of wild to watch it play out in real time, because this is somebody who, and people have been making the comment, oh, he ran on exposing the Epstein stuff, and not technically. He definitely talked about it. At least I couldn't find it. If anybody has a clip of him saying very definitively, we're going to do this. I know JD Vance made multiple comments, which we're going to talk about here in just a minute, but I was trying to find any one instance where Trump was super solid on that position, and he waffled on it a little bit, or he would like equivocate, or kind of make very vague statements. But again, I may have missed it if there's like a definitive statement of him out there. But he definitely did use that as a talking point. He definitely called out the entire situation, trying to make it and he's doing that again, trying to make it a Democratic Party issue. But it's just crazy to me to watch, because that is something I think nobody would deny, that his base is incredibly focused on. Their attention to this, and as it should be, it's a child sex trafficking ring that implicates people in very high levels of power and influence, which is still crazy that that's a sentence that we can say out loud and nobody's doing anything about it. But it is, we should all care about it. And that's why I think it's been so damaging that the guy came out and called his own supporters stupid for caring about child sex trafficking. I mean, that's wild behavior. I don't know. Did he think that was going to go over well? Because I don't think it went over well. But there's multiple things about this story that have been popping up. So let's start with this tweet here from Glenn Greenwald. He said, if the Epstein files are a hoax fabricated by Hillary and Comey, which that is what Trump is now saying, that it's a Democratic Party invention, it's Russiagate 2.0, blah, 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 or whatever, that they just invented this out of whole cloth and there's nothing incriminating there. So Glenn continues, shouldn't profuse apologies be forthcoming from those who accuse Biden officials of protecting pedophiles and accuse Bill Gates of being on the client list? And he has a couple tweets down here that he included. So this one from JD Vance: what possible interest would the U.S. government have in keeping Epstein's client secret? Oh, and he was retweeting Jack Posobiec. And this is from 2021. And then this one, Kash Patel said Bill Gates was, quote, lobbying Congress night and day to prevent the disclosure of that Epstein list. Why? And so there was a lot of conversation, especially on the right, about Democrat. They love to do that, right? They'll ignore their own party's connections to anything vile, but anytime that the other party, then suddenly they care tremendously about it. And again, both sides do it. I don't belong to either camp or crew. I'm anti-electoral politics. I don't give a shit about your cults. So this isn't me like bashing the right or whatever. The left does it too, but it's fascinating to watch how passionate they really were, not just the base, but people in positions around Trump, advisors of Trump. JD Vance on numerous occasions spoke about it. And so that's what I think is the most telling, is that they really think that their base is either that stupid or that loyal that they can turn on the drop of a dime. It was just like overnight, suddenly there's no list and and he killed himself. Like whiplash, genuine whiplash from that reversal. Glenn then continued in the tweet thread. Also, if Hillary, Obama, Jim Comey, Brennan, and Biden somehow fabricated and forged a bunch of Epstein files, as Trump alleges, those would be major felonies. Why isn't the Trump DOJ prosecuting those who concocted these documents? Instead, Trump is demanding everyone move on. That's the crazy part. Move on? In what universe do you just move on from an abundance of evidence that Jeffrey Epstein was running a human trafficking ring, a child sex trafficking ring, allegedly, don't come for me, and that his clients were people in incredible positions of power? We're talking royalty, presidents potentially, senators, other world leaders, serious positions of power and authority, involved and implicated in a child sex trafficking ring, potentially. And Trump is and after Trump talking about it for years, maybe not running on it necessarily, but certainly talking about it and discussing it in a very animated way. Again, JD Vance, let's pull up. We read this one earlier. What possible interest would the U.S. government have in keeping Epstein's client secret? And then my favorite one, as somebody who's a big fan of journalists, real journalists, not like the propagandists that most journalists are. But he said, if you're a journalist and you're not asking questions about this case, you should be ashamed of yourself. What purpose do you even serve? I'm sure there's a middle-class teenager somewhere who could use some harassing right now, but maybe try to do your job once in a while. And people will say, well, this is from 2021. Things changed. More information came out. No, zero information has come out that has alleviated suspicions about what Jeffrey Epstein was up to and who he was up to it with. Nothing. I don't care if you release some doctored video of the outside of Jeffrey Epstein's cell and you claim that that should be enough and he killed himself and just get over it. Like it's crazy to me that Trump thinks that his base is just going to walk away from this issue. Zero questions asked. Here's another one. This is also from 2021 from JD Vance, Vice President JD Vance. Remember when we learned that our wealthiest and most powerful people were connected to a guy who ran a literal child sex trafficking ring? And then that guy died mysteriously in a jail, and now we just don't talk about it? Well, we were talking about it, JD. And then Trump is telling everybody to forget about it and acting exasperated that anybody would even ask a question. you were talking about journalists and how if you're not asking about this, you should be ashamed of yourself. And then a journalist asks Trump about the Epstein stuff, and they get publicly shamed and trashed and called stupid and all of the other things. What universe are we in? It is wild to me that this is a thing that they're trying to pull, and the base is freaking the fuck out. They are losing their entire minds, which I don't blame them. I think I forgot to get a video. There was a video, I might be able to find it. There was a video of people calling in to like Glenn Beck's show, literally near tears over this, talking about how they supported Trump, they believed in Trump, and they can't believe that now he's gaslighting us, he's calling us stupid, telling us to forget this, whatever. And that seems to be a pretty common response that people are having. And this is another example of that. Trump supporters burn MAGA hats after he dismisses Epstein files as a hoax. Mike Pence spoke out, which take that as whatever that is. I don't really know that that's neither here nor there. And I'm loath to use an article from The Guardian, but here we are using an article from The Guardian. I have major beef with The Guardian over their conduct regarding Julian Assange and the way they threw him under the bus. But here we are. This is an article from The Guardian. Donald Trump's efforts to dismiss the criticism over his administration's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files as a quote-unquote hoax showed no sign of working on Thursday as more prominent figures from across the political spectrum emerged to attack the U.S. president, and some of his supporters recorded videos burning their signature Make America Great Again hats. So I actually have some videos, I think. Yep, here we go. So these are just a couple of them. So there's one.
This is all going in the trash. I do not support Trump anymore. He's a liar. He's a part of the deep state. I do not support Israel. I will not be supporting him anymore. He's part of the deep state. He's committing genocide as we speak in Israel. And we all need to start waking up.
So there you have it. MAGA's mad, and they have every right to be. I just think it's interesting to watch the way that they are reacting to the whole thing. And again, I kind of alluded to it earlier. I think it's kind of refreshing because at least they're willing to be critical of Trump. I think, in my opinion, liberals are the worst to deal with. They do not want to ever admit that anything their party does is wrong. Remember the tan suit? Like Obama blew up funerals, and they like to pretend that a tan suit is his only controversy. I mean, Standing Rock or Flint, or, I mean, we could name, right, a ton of actual scandals, but they only want to ever talk about a tan suit. And MAGA is actually being vocally critical of Trump on various different fronts. As you saw, the one guy, Israel, which I think we're starting to see even more of that for various reasons. But the Ukraine situation, there's just so much that people were promised, and they're recognizing that they were never going to get that. And that's, I think, hard for people to swallow, but they are at least attempting to make those connections, which is good. It's just, I just really hope that, I really, really hope that these people that we see kind of having these epiphanies, don't get suckered in the next election cycle. They're going to get suckered in. People always get suckered into the election. So if you don't know, I am incredibly anti-electoral politics. I think it is a ginormous waste of time, energy, effort, money, resources, all of the things. You cannot vote your way out of this. It's just not possible. Our elections are garbage. They always have been. We can't even audit the machines, proprietary software. Like, it's a mess. We got vote by mail. It is a mess. And our elections consistently rank amongst the worst for Western democracies. It's a joke. We're a joke. Our elections are a joke. And even if you could vote, it doesn't matter because the options that you're presented with are two hand-selected people who will serve the agenda. So the choice never exists. There's never a choice. And don't come to me with your third-party stuff either. I'm not interested. The entire electoral system is completely corrupted, front to back, top to bottom. It doesn't matter. We cannot vote our way out. So people will yell, well, then talk about solutions. Again, we do all the time. And solutions are things like opting out and building. You have to try to build outside of the current systems. And that's, it's going to get way worse, I think. Again, I'm sorry for being doom and gloom and for being black-pilled or whatever. I'm just trying to be realistic. We are an empire in decline. I think it is really apparent. I think we're well past the point of no return. Controlled demolition or otherwise, it doesn't matter. The end result is the same and it's going to suck. So we need to stop like this ridiculous stuff that divides people. It's so silly. We're going to need each other. We need to stop letting them divide us on this stuff. Because it's really only going to get worse as we're talking about the ICE situation and the surveillance state and the police state and the facial recognition and the AI and all of the stuff that's coming. It's a lot to overcome. It is really a lot to overcome. So also